right, hi everyone. I'm here with Alex at the Protein Games booth, and we're going to check out Attack the Darkness, which is their first Kickstarter game, which is now available here at PAX for purchase. Can you tell us a little bit about how the game plays?
So the game is a card-based RPG, and when we say card-based, we really mean entirely card-based. So the way that the game works is that you have two decks of cards that are your character. And the game comes with pre-constructed decks, but they also allow you to build your own deck if you want. It comes with several hundred extra cards. And the way it works is that you have one deck, which is your resource deck, which is all of these adjectives and adverbs that describe the abilities. And then you have all your abilities, which are your action decks. So I could do a crushing parry, or I could fend, or I could execute footwork, or I could take just one step, because this is a samurai, he's very stylish. He's also a Hadrosaur, one of the only games that has a Hadrosaur Samurai available, which is a feature. And so the way it works is that everything you do in the game is made from your cards. There's no dice, there's no real character sheets. So when I take the cards, I could do a disciplined crushing parry, or I could do an annihilating crushing parry, or I could do a faked crushing parry, and all of these different combos do different things. Each combination of cards has a different effect because all of the resource cards affect the action cards. So the way the game plays is it's a tactical combat game, like any dungeon crawl, like your Dungeons and Dragons type game where you've got a battle mat and you move tokens around and you fight monsters. The only difference is that our battle mat is also made of cards. This is the dungeon deck. It's an auto-playing deck that fights against you with monster cards. However, in addition to being full of monsters, it's also full of equipment, and the cards also double as the dungeon. So you put down your dungeon and you lay it out, and then you do a very small one because we're trying to keep it short, and then you would select a series of monsters through the play mechanic, and you could say you could fight a minotaur in this dungeon. So you could play as a samurai fighting a minotaur, and I would use my two decks of cards, drawing two separate hands, to fight against monsters who would then be in the dungeon. So the minotaur would be in the dungeon, and the samurai would be in the dungeon, and then the samurai and the minotaur would fight to the death. Now, obviously, when we play the actual game, there are many, many monsters that populate any given encounter. And then at the end of an encounter, I would flip over items, and if one of these items, say, was a piece of equipment, I could then keep that equipment, or at the end of the encounter, if I was dead, the game would be over. So the game is designed to play 1 to 8 players if you have a GM, 1 to 7 players if you do not. You can play the game either with or without a GM, co-op or PvP. So it's got a lot of play styles. It's sort of your prototypical Kickstarter game in that it has way too much stuff in it. There's 800 pieces that come in the box. It has every class that the game comes with. It has every card that the game comes with. It has everything that the game is about, all comes in one box. And we're really proud of it. We've gotten a really great critical reception. You can play the game in very different game lengths, which was important to us because we're all gamers who are getting older. So we've got kids and jobs and wives and things that take up a lot of our time. And so you can play an encounter, which is 30 minutes. You can play a dungeon, which is an hour and a half to 2.5 hours, or you can play a campaign, which is many nights in a row. And being able to have a tabletop game that you can play in those really small segments was hugely important to us because we're gamers who don't have 8 hours on Friday night to play one game anymore. So finding a game that we could play in smaller amounts of time with different sized groups of people was hugely important, and it didn't exist, so we made it, and we really, really are having a great time with it here. On the other side of this curtain is our booth, and we have, I think, 15 or so people talking about the game and demoing the game right now, so we're having a great time with it.
Awesome, and I know you could get it on Kickstarter, you can get it here at PAX. Where else can people pick it up if they haven't already?
Well, actually, you can't get it on Kickstarter anymore. The Kickstarter is over for this game, but you can get it at PAX right now at a great deal, or you can get it on Amazon. You can actually buy it on Board Game Geek, and you can buy it on our website as well if you go to proteingames.net.
Great, well thank you so much. We'll have to check it out.